I mean, so this is what, it's just Google just says
Google's a
the
lie.
distinction is disc golf. Disc golf is a disc and is smaller than a frisbee, but more dense. Frisbees are designed specifically for throwing and catching with a tall profile and rounded outer edge. Disc golf discs are specifically designed for only throwing and not catching. Okay, well, obviously.
Yeah, shenanigans. It's still a brand. And that's why they don't call it
It's
Frisbee
actually
golf.
a thing.
But
Is what
Frisbee
this
golf is a brand.
this is saying is it's not a brand.
Okay.
It's an
It
actual
doesn't even
object.
matter. Johnny, you win. You're better at disc golf than me.
We already established that. That has nothing to do with this. Oh, everybody. We apologize for the hiatus that we took. It's been a year at this point, almost over a year, actually, since we've come out with an episode. I think our last one might have been the history of golf, actually. Was that episode 4, Gary?
Sure. Why not? Yeah.
Who knows?
Roz is back. Roz. Anyways, welcome to There's No Crying in Podcasting. I am one of your hosts, Johnny Blackburn, and alongside me this week, because he felt like joining me. Normally, it's just me by myself talking to a wall and not recording anything. Is my co-host
Nick Alessandro.
And also joining us is the sexy and sultry Roz, our producer.
Boys.
Hello.
It's not actually Roz from Frasier, everybody. It's the one and only.
Hello, boys. Gary Elmore.
Harry. Hello.
Is that seriously? God, that's creepy as fuck. I'm going to start answering your phone.
I
It's
like
hey,
it.
boys, it's Gary.
I like
Elmore.
it.
Yeah.
Do you want Gary to answer the phone like that when you call?
Yeah.
That's how you... Okay.
Please do.
Gary, can you do that the next time Nick calls you?
Of course. Nick, let me hear your sexiest voice.
Hello, Gary. That's all I got. It
Okay.
picked up Caitlin.
bad.
So.
Okay. All right, Johnny, let's hear yours.
Hello, Gary.
I just smoked too much cigarettes.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my
Hello,
God.
Gary.
What's that? Feinstein?
Yeah, Harvey Feinstein.
I almost said Harvey Weinstein,
Harvey
which
Weinstein.
is much different.
Way
It's not
worse.
the same thing.
Way worse. Two very different things. Two very different people.
That's rough.
Oh my God. Yeah. What was it, that trip to the Southeast that we were going on and you sang one of those musical numbers from oh God dang. What were we singing when we were up in, it was the Northeast trip. Oh God dang it. It's
I
a song
wasn't
from
there for
Family
any of this,
Guy.
so-
It's Off on the Road to
Road
Rhode
to
Island.
Island.
Yeah.
And so we were driving in the car, and for some reason, Gary and I thought it would be fun to film each other, like every time,
Yeah.
and like every hour. We were
Why
like,
the
"Hey,
fuck
let's
am I
film this
friends
trip."
with y'all, honestly?
And Gary,
Almost 20
Gary sang
years.
that song as
actually
Harvey
wild.
Feinstein,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
quite entertaining.
It's actually wild that I'm friends with y'all. Y'all are fucking nerds.
You're a fucking
No,
nerd.
y'all are really fucking nerdy.
You're a fucking
y'all
nerd.
filmed each other singing songs on a road trip. That is so fucking nerdy. Kobe. Oh my God.
Oh, I'm not
That's
going to
awful.
explain that inside joke. It would take
Yeah,
too
I
long.
can't.
I'm not. I can't.
I don't think
I'm
we
not
can.
going to. Yeah, you're right. I can't. I just can't. Gary, you got 2 billion followers. That's all we know. That's all we know, man. That's all we know,
Wonderful.
dude. You got
Oh
2
my
billion of them.
God.
They die for you, Gary.
They would die for you,
We'd
Gary.
die for you too, man. Guys, what's everybody? I feel like we need to give everybody kind of a brief rundown of what we've been doing over the
what
last
we've been
year.
doing?
We've been gone for a while. Nick, what have you been doing, man? I mean, you had a lot going on at the end of last year, and you
I
have a lot
did.
going on right now.
I graduated college.
Congratulations.
Big deal. I
Round
know.
of
I know.
Congratulations.
I'm the
Applause.
first one in our friend group to do that.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
pretty.
Yeah,
That's pretty wild.
in the immediate
like,
friend
in our-
group, yeah.
Yeah, our
In the immediate, yeah.
Um,
Unless you count extended, then we have multiple.
well, I'd hope so.
One would hope.
And then I started working. I'm doing sales stuff in the corporate world now. So
Very nice.
Okay, good.
Very
Avoiding being
nice.
sued. Very
yes,
nice.
exactly.
Perfect.
I'm getting very good at this. I've gone through extensive
So,
training on how
since-
not to get sued.
Since the number of listeners we have is really limited to my mom
Yeah.
and Kaylin.
Hi, Mrs. Blackburn.
You know, I mean, Gary will listen to it in the edits,
I
and
have to,
Ian
yeah.
might catch this episode. I don't
you
know.
listen to it quite a lot.
Since
actually.
no one,
more than I want
since
to.
no one's really listening to it, do you want to give us any like dirty secrets on your new employers?
I don't really. It's not really that dirty.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's a normal job.
Yeah, they're a pretty normal company.
I mean, indeed they are.
but
But
you don't get that joke.
do you get it?
Well, you're
No, what does that mean? What do you mean by
I'm
that?
pretty sure I stole that joke from Gary.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah. He said-
Yeah. He works for ZipRecruiter, everyone.
It was for Monster. It's
If
fine.
anybody was here right now, I turned to the left after I said that to Gary, and it was just like daggers, man.
Yep.
Just daggers of pure hatred.
Speaking of daggers and pure hatred,
Speaking of daggers and pure hatred, Gary, what have you been up
Yeah,
to?
what have you been doing, buddy?
oh, just working on some podcasts. Mainly, I don't give a flick.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess if we have anybody who's a crossover listener, I guess, who listens to both.
That'd be very strange.
No,
Listen to both? Why?
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
guess sports
yeah.
and film, yeah,
Yeah.
they don't really run together.
what do you mean?
What?
Angels in the outfield? Rookie of the year?
Oh, we wanted to
Moneyball?
We need to do
Moneyball! There's
greatest,
so
we need to
many.
do the greatest sports films before you leave. Kinda
okay,
like that.
I
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah, we need.
I
Definitely
just
need
named
to.
a bunch of them.
Yeah, you did.
A couple of
I
them.
mean-
Yeah.
A couple. That's 3. Okay, that's more than a couple.
No, three is a pattern. 2 is a coincidence.
No. 1 is an accident. 2 is a coincidence. 3 is intentional. I guess a pattern. Yeah, I guess it would also be a pattern.
It's a pattern.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Gary,
Thinking
that's
all
all you've been
these-
doing is podcasts.
Yeah.
That's all I've been
else.
doing is podcasts. What am I talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I've been traveling a bunch, but you know,
we're also
too.
thinking about putting together a feature or short.
A short. We
film,
actually
yeah.
are.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Leadfeather is entering. We actually just received, I'd say about 150, 160 scripts over the last week. And
Uh-huh.
Gary, Neil, and I have been furiously reading through them as quickly as we can, trying to get pre-production rolling by the end of August. And there are so many scripts. Some of them
Are they good?
not bad. Some of
Yeah.
them are actually pretty good. When I've done this in the past for other production companies I've worked for, a lot of times the scripts just they're horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, the structure is abysmal. Honestly, it's like there's ways. Gary, what's the standard screenplay format system? Do you remember what it's called? Does Adobe have one?
They used to. They got rid of that though. But yeah,
Okay, there's some.
there is a accepted way of making. you
Right.
know,
But there's yeah, exactly. So point being, there's multiple different software out there that can help you structure any script that you want. Anyways, and just so yeah, some of them they were awful. Anyways, with this one, we were offering to option the script off or purchase it completely.
Okay.
And so a professional screenwriting group found us on Facebook and asked me if it was okay if they put my posting on their website. And I'm
Oh,
like,
and you guys got
absolutely.
flooded.
But it's a good thing. It's a good problem to have. There's still some pretty bad ones, but for the most part, they're pretty solid
That's awesome.
across the board. So
You want to know how I know y'all are nerds, by the way?
what's that?
You also know about a script maker for Adobe
Yeah.
or something?
Well, we do work
Yeah.
in film.
I mean,
Well,
that's
Nick-
still fucking nerdy.
Nick,
right?
That is my
you play
profession.
Dungeons and Dragons and,
So do you.
and Paradox games.
Yeah, so do you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, don't you play
But-
D&D or
But
something?
Dungeons and Dragons is like cool now.
No.
Yes, it is.
has
It
become-
is.
Honestly,
it is actually
you
a
guys-
really critical role has really made
thank
that.
you, Big
like,
Bang,
Oh,
thank you, Big Bang Theory. Honestly.
Big Bang Theory
Thank you,
too?
Big Bang Theory is a big
That's
proponent of that.
Big
honestly.
Bang, Critical Role, those have
Critical Role
has made a
if
big
you're
deal.
listening to this podcast, you probably like sports, and if you like sports, don't get involved in D&D.
I mean,
just don't do it.
It's a
Yeah.
really good experience, honestly.
Yeah, we
I
always
mean,
have a lot
It's
of fun with
for,
it.
for people that are like,
I think sports players could 100% play D&D.
okay.
I'd like to see Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire,
I
Sammy
guarantee you
Sosa, and like Cal Ripken Jr. play D&D.
Yeah,
Are those
I don't know, Ken Griffey's DMing or something.
Yeah, they're sports. They're
Yeah.
baseball
They're
players.
baseball
Okay.
players,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that would be fucking sick,
I
honestly.
guarantee you there's at least
They'd all be
maybe
barbarians.
5% of all athletes across whatever that play some
I
type
bet
of
there's a
fantasy
ton of
game.
them.
I bet there's a ton.
There's
Yeah, I guarantee
literally
it.
there's video footage of Tim Duncan,
Nice.
Manu, and
Yeah.
like a bunch of other Spurs players playing
Yeah.
StarCraft, the original
Hell
StarCraft,
yeah.
on like
I don't even like
shit-
StarCraft,
shitty
but hell
fucking
yeah, Spurs.
laptops, like on like an away game. They're like in the hotel. Sean Elliott is one of them, and they're like playing StarCraft,
Okay.
and it's like they're nerds just like us, right? Like, I mean,
They're just normal people. They put their pants on one leg at a time.
yeah. In fact,
So
Kyler Murray had to have something in his contract to make him play less Call of Duty. Did you not? Do you know what I'm talking about?
that. Yes.
Yes.
I actually did read about that the
Yeah.
other day. Okay.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
I don't even know who that is.
he's a quarterback for the
He's a-
Cardinals.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
So the Arizona Cardinals actually took that out of his contract. But
Yeah.
there's a
read
great
it on
story about
ESPN
this.
the
I
other
know it's completely off topic, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So Reddit, being Reddit,
Yeah.
they found out the release of the contract that showed that Kyler Murray had to do a certain amount of film work every every week. I think it was like 5 or 10 hours of film work.
Yeah.
And it had to be done like under a camera. And like they wanted to make sure he was actually studying his film. So Reddit, they're being detectives they are, went in and looked up his stats and how well he performed after the launch of a new Call of Duty game. And so what they found is that he was much worse after a launch of a new Call of Duty game. So like, yeah, Kyler Murray does not study and plays way too many video games.
Okay. And he's a millionaire. So kids, when your parents tell you to study, say, go fuck yourself.
Fuck you.
Just goes to show.
Yeah.
Fuck you, mom and dad.
Fuck you, mom and dad. I'm going to be a baseball player, a football player, and I'm going to play video
or
games.
a professional gamer.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I can do everything because I'm Kyler fucking
I
Murray.
mean, that's technically part of the world of sports. I put air quotes in there, like the e-gaming and all that.
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff,
Esports,
right?
huge.
Yeah, esports, thank you.
Huge. That's like a $3 billion industry now.
So do you know who any of the top paid players in the world are? Is that something you keep
there's
track
a
of?
bunch of like highly paid players.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
What's his
talking
name,
about like,
PewDiePie or something?
that's a YouTuber, and I wouldn't really call him a esports guy. If you're talking about esports, you're talking about like Shroud, who is like a famous CSGO and now Valorant player.
Yeah. Who's the guy with like the big handlebar
That's
mustache?
The Doc.
The doc?
And he actually was a Twitch streamer. He worked for Call of Duty and then got banned off of Twitch for unknown mysterious reasons, and now is on YouTube.
Do you know about DSP, Dark Side Phil?
No.
You haven't heard of Dark Side Phil?
No.
Oh, he's just, oh man, this is like totally off topic of the sports podcast. But, he's like this guy, and he's like just like kind of an asshole. And he's like, you know, everybody send me more money, and I'll put on this vest or whatever. And he's like begging people to send him money because
that's
like,
pretty cool.
Well, I mean, like, you know, he's like, I can't make my rent if you don't send me money.
Oh,
like,
that guy's a genius.
Pathetic. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably way more than his rent.
He would keep getting banned from Twitch because he would upload his videos immediately to YouTube, and Twitch is like, you need to wait 24 hours before you do that.
Yeah.
And
You know, I'm not even going to get down that road about the Twitch guy. We need to talk about sports. This is a sports podcast.
Well, you know, it's all right to chat about
That's
other
true.
things.
That's very true.
no
Esports
Super Bowl,
is kind of
1986.
Hey,
that's
involving football. So
good football reference.
You know, sports and games. That's kind of
what was it? The starting running back in that was faster than everybody else.
OJ?
Bo Jackson.
Oh, was he on the Browns? Because that team, Tom would always play them.
I don't remember Did Bo Jackson play for the Browns?
No,
play
he
for
was
the
on
Raiders.
the Raiders.
Yeah,
but there's a famous Family Guy clip. I'm pretty sure it's Techno Bowl.
Okay.
With Bo Jackson and Peter like is running around the field.
I remember seeing that.
And
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's real. That Bo Jackson was faster than every other player in that game.
It makes sense. He was a multi-sport athlete. I mean, he played baseball and
Tom
football.
probably just beat you because he was better at it.
Yeah, and he would always pick the Browns, and the Browns were the best team at the time.
Did they have Jim Brown?
Why would the Browns be the best team in
what year was Techno Bowl?
85, 86? Maybe it was the Bears. I don't know. They had orange helmets.
It could.
Orange helmets was that's the Browns.
Okay, yeah.
Could be the Bears. The Bears had
I'm pretty sure it was the Browns.
But I mean, that game was pixels. So like, it's not like they had like a bear on the helmet. The Bears also have orange.
Aren't games still pixels?
But like, I mean like a pixel, right? Like it was just like a little dude, right? Like they couldn't be like.
Was it orange and blue or like orange and black?
It was orange and white. I'm almost 100%
sure.
sure.
It has to be the Browns.
I'm almost 100% sure.
Maybe Tom is just a god at this game.
Well, I was also like 6 and he was like 11.
See this. It's coming unraveled.
Who was the Browns running back?
But no, the Browns team was a little bit better than all the other teams in that game.
Yeah, Gary, the Browns running back in 85 was a guy by the name of Ernest Biner.
Yeah, like I think the Browns were trash.
Well, if you were really into sports, Johnny, you'd know Ernest Biner like I do.
Oh yeah, of course, Gary. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of the greatest running backs of all time, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Ernest Biner.
Yeah, number one.
Number one. The big.
We have a goat, ladies and gentlemen.
Goat alert! Goat alert!
Oh my god. The Browns. I don't even.
What
the Browns have always been bad. Like,
I'm about to say the Browns. That's a great segue into talking about recent activity in the sports world.
Okay.
Let's talk about Deshaun Watson for a quick second.
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson. The Texans traded for him about 2 months ago.
Yeah,
a bevy of first round picks, a couple of young guys, and even with the assumption that he would be suspended for a few games.
Yeah.
Not as many as Roger Goodell just recently handed down. But what do you think on this, Nick? Is 11 games enough? Is it too many? Is it too little? Should he even be punished at all? Should he be thrown out of the league completely? Where are you coming from?
It's a difficult situation, right? I don't know if he's guilty or not. I mean, it wasn't in the court of law that he was guilty. Yeah. Obviously,
hard to prove that one.
Right.
The same as what we were talking
25
about. 25
people said he harassed them. So,
but, 1, 2, 3 makes it 25. That's I'd
imagine. I think personally he's guilty of something. And so he got 6 games, which in my opinion isn't enough.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to go back and
he was out last season too. I mean, he did sit all of last season.
Yeah.
But I mean,
but that was kind of on his own as well.
Crimes here. Yeah.
Because he also didn't want to play for the Texans. So, I think.
And you blame him.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, I think 11. Ezekiel Elliott got 6 games for doing nothing.
Yeah.
And that was the original ban for Watson was 6 games.
Right.
So Zeke was proven to not do anything and he got 6.
Right.
Watson, almost 100% sure he did something. I think 11 is, I would have gone maybe, I don't know why they picked 11 when they could have gone 12.
That is an odd amount. Yeah.
Like there's 18 games in the season, 18 weeks in the season. Why wouldn't you do 2/3 of the season? Why did they pick 11? Anyway, I'd probably go like 15, I think, honestly. Maybe, actually, I think maybe the whole year.
Yeah.
Get him out the whole year.
Give him 2 years. Give him a chance to, reinvent
I mean, because like you also have
back.
to think like, I mean, there's so many famous wide receivers who have, I mean, been banned for smoking weed, right? Like, what's that wide receiver who played for the Seahawks and
so Josh Gordon, he played for the Browns for a while.
And the Seahawks,
and the Seahawks,
and Gordon got banned like
three different
times for catching a weed. Like,
yeah, I mean, so when they were drug testing, he would have just like traces of THC in the system, and they book him. But it's not like half a game or something. They're booking him for multiple games. You know, he's losing a lot of money.
He lost like a whole season, 2 seasons, and at that time, like it was his prime. He was like 27.
Yeah. Now, I mean, those are those. You know, on the other side, those are the rules.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a stupid rule.
I would agree with you. A rule nonetheless, but
right. But I mean, if you're weighing it out, like weed, sexually assault to 25 women, like I think I'm going to go with banning Watson for the whole year.
Let me ask you this question then to both of you guys: should people be banned before they're like proven to be guilty, or should we assume innocence until proven guilty?
Oh, I still think there's innocence until proven guilty, but a lot of times when they're awaiting trial, because of that, there's so much going on with the media that the league doesn't want to face any scrutiny at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they'll typically pull them regardless.
Right. But is that the right thing to do? Even though I have no idea about whatever guy you're talking about.
I think in this case, right, it has nothing to do with court of law or anything like that. It's against the league rules. Like what he did was
the league rules are there, and they are separate from the actual law itself.
Okay. And so he broke the rules as far as like you sign in when you're in the player association, when you play in the NFL, you have to sign like rules and contracts.
Yeah.
And he broke the rules that he signed that he wouldn't break.
Okay. Kind of like if you're like playing a sport and you're like, I'm going to be exclusive to this sport. And then you're like, go to another sport.
Like
and you're like, okay. All right.
Yeah, exactly like that.
All right.
That's great.
I guess live and let live.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
That's a good one. We can segment into that. Let's talk about that.
I don't believe that's on the discussion for this.
Is it not?
Yeah, it is.
No, let's talk about it.
It's the second thing.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about it right now.
Anyway,
all right.
Deshaun Watson. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think it should have been for a full season.
Full season.
Why not permanent then?
Whenever. It's just like sending people to prison. Let people pay their dues. Let them pay their time.
Yeah.
And then you know me, and I think out of most people I know, I personally, I believe in a second chance. A second chance. You get a chance for redemption.
I agree.
So I think a lifetime ban, unless things were proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, or there were like gruesome events, things like that, physical contact, things like that, then I would say that might warrant, a lifetime ban. But that wasn't claimed.
I would say betting on the game potentially could be like that. Pete Rose.
Yeah, but see, Pete Rose.
I mean, Calvin Ridley did it this year.
I mean, if you bet on yourself to win, I think that should be fine.
Yeah, I don't really see any problem with that one.
It's only if you bet against yourself.
So the problem is that like you don't know, like they don't know what the bets were, right? Like,
but like if you had
that's Pete Rose's claim is that he only bet on them to win,
right? But
I don't believe Pete Rose.
But if he had that in the open, like okay, Pete Rose bet $2.5 million on himself to win or whatever, I would be fine with that.
Yeah, I personally I would agree with you. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a ref betting, obviously,
exactly.
I got a big problem with that.
There's so much wiggle room there, but I don't know. The lifetime ban's too much, I think.
So do you think Tanya Harding should have been banned for like
smashing the leg or hiring somebody?
Allegedly.
Well, remember she claimed she didn't. They claimed that she didn't know about that point and told them to not do it. So no, I would not have given her a lifetime ban. I thought that ruling was harsh and unjustified, to be quite honest with you. Because she's not the one that pulled it out or that carried it out. She told them to not do it, and then they went ahead and did it anyway.
I agree. I think it was.
So if that's true, provided that statement's
I don't know
true,
how you can prove it wasn't true. I think that's part of the problem too.
I, Tonya was a great movie, by the way. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Fantastic.
I haven't seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
You haven't seen I, Tonya?
No.
Oh my God.
Allison Janney, Margot Robbie.
It's got the Winter Soldier guy.
Margot Robbie is really hot.
She's really hot, but she and Allison Janney
is hot in that movie.
Good, dude.
Okay, maybe I'll watch it.
No, they do a good job of making her unattractive, actually.
Oh, then I'm not going to watch
Well, I mean, like when she is on the ice and such.
She's really hot.
I just meant less attractive than she normally is.
Okay, Harvey
Sorry,
Quinn
I misspoke. I mean less attractive.
Okay. I was just saying she plays Harvey Quinn.
Yeah,
Harvey Quinn carries a baseball bat.
That is true.
Baseball is a sport.
Well, let's move on to that is actually a good segue. Gary, you were talking about golf and live.
Yep.
So why don't you kind of give us a little breakdown? What's going on? You know, like for somebody like me, golf's one of the sports I don't follow super closely. So what's up?
Yeah. Explain it.
Well, as just y'all's producer here, I don't feel like it's my right.
My God.
Okay, Nick. I don't care who does it.
Gary doesn't want to explain it because he loves Phil Mickelson. Like that's.
I mean, I've lost a lot of respect for him. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, but
so basically, you have the PGA, which is the Professional Golf Association of America,
right?
And they're the body that does all of the major tournaments in the United States. And they have a players' union and all the players are in it.
Which used to be.
Yes. So for like 100 years, they were all in it.
Forever.
Yeah. And players have to abide by the union rules that they all agreed to.
They were in the union.
Yeah. And then they could go play other tournaments, like they'd go to Dubai and play those kind of tournaments,
in Europe,
or like European tournaments,
Asia as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But last March or within the last year.
Yeah, it's been this year.
Yeah,
when it started.
Yeah, they started a new golf association called Live.
Yeah,
Live. Yeah, and
LIV.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And so Phil Mickelson is the most prominent PGA player that's gone over to that, but he started to play in their tournaments. So they've kind of suspended him from being able to play in the PGA now. Rightfully so. Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, and I'm, as much as I call them nerds, I'm a nerd too. And I compared it to light side and dark side. And the PGA is obviously the good guys. Like they're the light side. And Mickelson is now the dark side. He is now Darth Vader. And they are trying to take down golf.
Yeah. Well, what's so interesting is like Phil Mickelson has always been a wonderful ambassador of golf. Like he's like great with his fans and does a whole lot of charity work. Yeah. And it's just really shocking to see that he gave that up and is such a proponent of breaking up the PGA.
Yeah, and I do find it weird because he talked bad about Saudi Arabia too. Like he lost sponsorships for that. Yeah. And then he went and took a bunch of Saudi Arabian money.
Yeah.
And now on the opposite side of that, we have the GOAT Tiger Woods.
Well, that's debatable.
It's debatable.
It's not really debatable.
I always thought it was Tiger Woods.
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
We have Tiger Woods, who is, the Luke Skywalker of this situation, who is trying to hold the PGA together and calling player-only meetings and and really bringing the PGA up.
At this point of his career, maybe like Obi-Wan Kenobi would be a better.
Sure. We can go with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense because Mickelson will be Vader and he'll be Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
And they played against each other a lot.
They did. Yeah. And Obi-Wan won a lot more than he lost.
That means Arnold Palmer is the Emperor.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
If Arnold Palmer was here today,
he'd be Yoda, I guess.
Okay. He'd probably be playing for Liv.
And
Arnold Palmer be playing for Liv?
He's all about the money.
Arnold Palmer?
Look at how much money he's making off of his drinks.
He's been what?
Yeah, look at all the money, the drinks.
No, Nick. Nick's being an idiot. Gary, please remember to edit this part out.
The funny thing is, you're going to forget to edit this part out.
It's just going to be in here.
I just put up whatever the fuck
he just have it. But yes.
Get him, Gary. Come on.
I mean, I think.
Well, he's not being serious right now.
I don't know. I mean, he'd probably be neutral.
Arnold Palmer?
Yeah, I think it'd be neutral. I think it'd be gray.
You think? Okay.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. We can't see that, but
no,
it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
The big thing, honestly, is that Tiger Woods is really helping out. And I was talking about this earlier. Tiger Woods turned down like a shit ton of money from Liv. $700 million.
Yeah.
Like that is a shit ton of money. And I mean,
so when you pay to fill up your tank, know that that's where that was going.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's all funded. They're losing money, by the way. Liv is losing a shit ton of money.
Well, I mean, they're trying to break into a solidified market already.
What's the whole point of having this then? What is the whole point of having these two different leagues?
It's just a flex. It's the same thing. Okay. Like the Saudi princes are too wealthy and they don't know what to do with their fucking money. And so what they're doing is they're fucking buying up golf, buying up F1 races, buying up F1 car teams, and just blowing money left and right.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate with you, Nick, then.
Yeah, I like devil's advocate.
So you went to college.
I did.
Like a big college.
I did.
And you got a degree in business.
Correct.
Okay, so is a monopoly good for a market, for the consumer? Oh, shit.
I hate that.
Okay, we're now into an economics podcast.
Right. I mean, technically, yes.
Yes.
Well, it depends.
Okay.
Like, a hard question.
Yeah.
Because if it's run correctly, right, and like they don't go all out for profits, and technically like they run it as a minimalistic like profit ideal margin.
Yeah, then you're not running it correctly.
Right. But I'm just saying, like,
you have a fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders.
I mean, no, it's not good.
Yeah, because
I hate it because you're right. Like technically, they need competition.
Yeah. It's like same thing with.
But they do have competition.
The PGA.
Europe, Asia.
I wish we were doing video so you could see my face.
I mean, it's true.
Mrs. Blackburn.
They technically have competition. It's not real competition.
Well, no, I mean, because like they work very close to.
Yeah, in fact, that's a big thing with Liv.
I mean, like I would say more like the European and the Asian tours are more of a pool than competition. Sure, because they schedule their events around the PGA.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. I mean, yes, but the problem with it is it's not. I mean, I guess it could be good for the sport.
Yeah. Okay. So let's
if they weren't just the way they're going about it is so wrong.
But I mean, how else could they possibly go about it? Since the PGA obviously doesn't want to lose its monopoly.
I don't know.
So it's kind of like football. So
right.
Like when football, you had the AFL and then you had the NFL, and then they merged to become the super duper NFL.
The mega NFL.
The
mega don of
yes. NFL. And so then you have like the Super Bowl from that because you've got the two branches of that. Although the NFL is now, of course, a monopoly.
Right.
Until the XFL comes around.
But that's like
they actually had a second stint and it failed.
Yeah.
Oh.
But people can blame COVID for that.
Huh?
It was doing really well until COVID.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know the ratings were up. I thought they were down.
They had this like really cool things with those. Like they had like beer. Like they would do these weird, crazy beer towers where people would like drink beer and like put a cup in and then
putting
like,
beer and football together. I never would have thought
they
that.
would like build these crazy beer towers that like went all the way up through the stadiums. Like it's actually really cool. But yeah, I mean, pretty much every sport has a monopoly.
Yeah, I mean, I mean,
except like soccer.
Soccer absolutely has.
Yeah, no, they have different leagues.
Remember?
But they've
got. I think you meant like corruption and stuff. I was like, remember with the World Cup? I was like, FIFA. I was like, we did a whole scandals episode last year.
I'll admit my ignorance to it, but isn't FIFA like the governing body of the world for soccer?
An international soccer.
So for like
the
United States,
yeah. So like World Cup stuff is handled.
And
by
FIFA is ridiculously corrupt.
Yeah, I mean the U.S. multiple governments
went after FIFA.
Yeah, and they arrested a bunch of high end officials,
like the president.
Yeah,
the head honcho is he's going to jail.
Oh, okay,
he's already there.
Yeah, he's in jail.
Okay,
but like they also have other leagues where it's like, I mean, I'm not the best soccer guy. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
my knowledge on it.
I'm not a big soccer's shitty. I mean, it's like basketball with more flopping.
I mean, hey, let's say you think with more flopping. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
true.
It's not. It's a bunch of Vlade Divox running around. Yeah. You know?
I saw the Keenan Peele skit where he gets hit and he's like flopping around.
Dude, that's real.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so real that like
soccer
sometimes
football players are the best actors in any sport.
So
by far.
Going back to the PGA and the golf. So let's. Do you like, because to break into a monopoly?
Yeah, you have to put in.
Yeah, you got to just interject so much money to break that up, which Saudi Arabia does have. So in 5 years, do you think the LIV is still going to be going, or do you think the PGA is going to win out?
It really depends on this court case that's going on right now.
Didn't it finish?
So
Nick, what you're referencing is a court case where several PGA players went over to play a tournament on LIV, which violated their contract with the PGA. And then so the PGA is like, no, you can't play anymore. And the three players were like, but we want to play. And I believe a judge just said, no, they can't play.
Yeah. Yes. But there's a bigger court case with that because what the owner of LIV is saying is that the PGA has talked to players, threatened them that if they leave, they're going to be banned, which I mean has happened. And then also colluded with the European leagues, the Asian leagues, as well as the Masters and some of the other big tournaments that if the players go to LIV, that they'll be banned from all those as well.
Right. But I mean, that's what the players all agreed to in their union.
So the difference is there's some tournaments that have their own ruling. Like, for example, you don't have to be, I'm pretty sure you don't have to be a part about the PGA Tour to play at the Masters.
No, the Masters chooses who they want to
play. And so for that.
Which if you're listening, I would like to play at the Masters.
Yeah, same, by the way. Gary and I are scratch golfers, so we could play 100%.
I will do whatever you want me to do,
we scratch up the golf course. But yeah, it's like what they're saying is like clubs like the Masters are preventing players from entering those tournaments because of the PGA colluding with them, which is not in their contract, right? Like technically they should be able to play at the Masters because the Masters is not, anybody can play there for those events.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, as we said, like the Masters chooses who it
right. But what they're saying is the PGA is using their powers and like forcing them to not allow LIV players.
I don't think anyone forces Augusta National to do anything.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what the court case is about. And we're going to see what happens there.
Yeah.
I'd imagine LIV probably loses.
So you think it's going to peter out?
I mean, it really depends on oil. I mean, if the Saudi Arabians,
the price of oil stays high,
the Saudi they keep getting money.
So it's really up to you, America.
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
It's up to you if you want LIV to maintain its current trajectory.
Do you want LIV to live? Because you have to spend money.
So we really need Vladimir Putin to start sending us oil again.
Yeah, can you please stop the war in Ukraine and start sending us oil?
Who would have thought the PGA? Okay.
You're welcome. Tiger Woods has now saved Ukraine. So
the savior of Ukraine. The savior of golf.
I mean, he is.
The ghost of Kiev.
He's amazing. Tiger Woods is just so good.
Great golfer of all time.
So good.
So good.
So, so Jonny, how do you kind of feel about organizations that have a monopoly on sports. Are you in favor of that, or would you like to see those broken up? Which may lead us into our next topic.
No, I would honestly have to say, well, kind of.
That's what I said.
You can't just something itinerary.
You just can't say kinda, because I did the same thing.
When you said kinda?
Yeah, I was like,
oh, I didn't know.
It's kinda okay that they have monopolies, but it's kinda not.
No, I don't think it's okay that they have a monopoly. I think it's, well, yeah, that's the thing. Is it okay? You know?
That's my question.
I know that's your question. I'm thinking about it.
It's such a hard question to answer.
It is. I'll tell you what I don't want to see. I don't want to see 2 leagues for each of the major professional sports. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see 2 NBAs. I don't want to see 2 NHLs. I don't want to see 2 tennis leagues.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If there were 2 NFL leagues, or it wouldn't be the NFL, but and you could have is it Adam Silvestre, or who does?
Adam Silver is the NBA's commissioner. Roger Goodell's the NFL.
Yeah. So if you had a commissioner of the second NFL league that was more like Adam Silver, and it was better, because you like how Adam Silver governs the NBA.
I
right?
do. I would rather just have Roger Goodell be replaced.
Yeah.
If you create 2 leagues, then it dilutes the talent pool in both leagues.
Agreed. And that's
the
problem.
You're not going to fight each other for a championship at the end. There's no point in playing.
And that's the problem with LIV, is that and the PGA. That's a big thing. And that's a great point.
Yeah.
Is that it dilutes the players. Because if you look at it, LIV has taken away
the talent really.
I mean, it's not the
quickly.
best talent. They don't have the top players. But they've taken away some of the top 25. I mean, Mickelson is done. He had that wonder run in that major, and that's it. He's done.
Yeah, much like Tiger Woods, yeah.
I don't know. He might come back. You said he would never win a major before again. And did he win a major again?
He did.
So,
and he also defended the PGA. So I don't know what to tell you.
Tiger Woods is honestly the strongest midichlorian count in the entire.
I guess, Gary, in answer to your original question,
yeah, he did. Tiger Woods go.
Yeah, Tiger Woods go.
Okay, so you're both behind the idea of just having one ultra league.
I'm okay with having a monopoly as far as a league goes. I'm not okay with one team inside of the league having a monopoly on the league. So Alabama for college football, which we'll get into here in a second.
The New York Yankees.
The Yankees for baseball.
Dodgers are there too, kind of.
Well,
the Lakers.
For baseball and basketball, it's much further apart. Football, it's all pretty close. The Cowboys are up there, but there's so many, the Patriots are up there. The 49ers are up there. I
think it's hard for the NFL to get a monopoly as far as the team goes because the salary cap is so strict.
Yeah, exactly.
The problem with basketball, and baseball is baseball does have wiggle room, but that's a different story. But basketball in particular has so much wiggle room with their cap.
The luxury tax,
it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like the Warriors,
they
paid like they paid the Warriors. This a completely different topic again, but the Warriors and the Nets paid more in luxury taxes this year than the entire rest of the league did for their payroll.
Yeah.
That is broken.
That's
and then people praise this goddamn Warriors dynasty, and I hate it. And I'm glad that they drafted really well.
They did.
That's awesome.
Everybody's homegrown talent.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's rare to do that. The Spurs are the last dynasty to really have done that well.
Not everybody's homegrown talent.
Well, true. I'm sure there's a few
not
that aren't
homegrown, right?
But he reached his
peak
potential.
Yeah,
when he found his role.
Yes,
and an all-star season as well.
Praise Kerr for that, by the way.
Sure, and the developmental coaches, the assistant coaches, the
Warriors shouldn't be able to keep all their players. They shouldn't. In any other league, they wouldn't have kept Draymond, Steph, and Clay for as long as they have.
If they sign everybody to maxes next year,
they're going to
mid-level or whatever.
Why wouldn't you?
But if they do, their payroll is going to be exceeding $400 million.
And they don't
$400 million for one team,
and they don't give a fuck. So that's
a lot of money.
The Lakers, you're right. The Lakers don't care. They don't.
Why would they? Why would they care? Why would the Warriors care? Because they're making so much fucking money. They're making bazillions of dollars on merchandise every year. So who cares?
Yep.
The luxury tax is a slap on the wrist because they're making more profit by having the players.
Yeah, you got to have the hard cap.
That's a problem.
You have to have the hard cap.
It's a problem.
You have to have the hard cap.
And that goes back to that question, right? When you're talking about, is it okay for a monopoly? It's okay for leagues to have the monopoly, I guess, but it's not okay for teams.
I agree.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Because when the teams have the monopoly, I think of it this way: the leagues, while they might have a monopoly on the sport, They don't have the teams themselves are still competitive, right? They're still fighting each other.
Okay.
For the championship.
Yeah.
When the team has a monopoly, that championship is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, the Warriors this year, like, I mean, it was almost when the playoffs came around, like they were going to win. Like everybody had called it.
That's why this year I was not excited at all about the playoffs.
Yeah. Gary, normally March games. Through the end of June, Gary is he's just ecstatic hyped. Every morning. He's like, cool March Madness, NBA playoffs. Here we go.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
So hyped for it.
He just loves basketball so much.
Let's see how many 3-point shots.
The mailman can hit.
Johnson,
Gary, when does the mailman deliver?
On Sundays.
On game day.
On game days too.
On both days. He delivers both days. He doesn't deliver on Sundays though.
The mailman delivers all the time, except in the finals.
Well, the reason Scottie Pippen said the mailman doesn't deliver on Sundays instead of game day was the joke was that's the only day they don't.
Yeah. Did you know that Larry Bird was a great trash talker?
Yes.
Gary, Gary, you want to tell everybody the rabbit hole you went down the other week?
Oh, I was watching a YouTube video on Larry Bird.
I watched that same video, I bet.
Who's also known as Larry Legend.
Larry Legend.
Larry Legend.
Yeah. Larry Legend.
Yep.
The hick from French Lick, baby.
Yep.
So good.
He was apparently a very good shooter.
One of the best. If not the best.
Which involves throwing a basketball through a hoop.
I think if he had the rules that they had now.
Not Steph Curry.
I think he could beat Curry now.
No way.
That's an argument for another time.
He played one game where they were shooting like three free throws. Oh, it's not a game. It was just like a kind of competition, free throw competition.
Okay.
Yeah. And he won it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
He didn't even take off his jacket for the 3rd time.
True. Because there was no competition.
Yep.
He was that good.
Yep. He went into the locker room famously and said, all right, who's coming in number 2?
Yeah. True.
Gary knows basketball.
You know so much about Larry
He's
Bird.
An aficionado of basketball, baby.
That's awesome.
All right, that's all I have on that topic. Thank you.
This has been Gary's TED Talk. Thank you for attending. So this is a good segue into really our main topic for the night. Realign This was, hey, finally got to the topic of the episode. It's fine. Realign This. There has been a lot of movement, a lot of scandal too. If you talking to the Pac-12 commissioner with the Big 12,
oh my God.
He's talking about collusion left and right with all the other the 4 Power 5 conferences.
Collusion. Fucking old school. What is that show?
The League.
The League reference.
Yep.
Collusion.
What was the name of that character?
Not Ruckus.
Ruxin. Yes.
Yep.
Rodney Ruxin.
Boy, that's dating yourself, Nick.
But currently, there's been a lot of movement in college football. We've seen, as we know from really a little over a decade ago, there were 6 major power conferences. They were the Power 6 at the time, I guess. As they didn't have the CFP really. But the Big East, at a time had college football, and
I forgot about
Pitt was a mainstay for a while, and Syracuse was around, and they had football programs that were mediocre at best, but they are no longer here. So we had a major shift in college football realignment around 2011, 2012. And what ended up happening was the entire landscape of college football was changed by the Big 12 losing. Oh man, Nebraska went to the Big 10. Colorado went to the Pac-12.
I forgot about Colorado going to the Pac-12.
Yeah, the Big East split up.
Yeah, West Virginia went to the Big 12.
Yeah, West Virginia went to the Big 12. Yeah. A lot of things were going on. And we now know, and I think we've all accepted, Gary, even you to a lesser extent, like you've heard about it from Nick and I talking about it.
all the time. We talk about
college
this too much.
football is run by the networks, is run by money. And it's
always been like that.
Of course. Excuse me. Where college athletics are run by college football. That's what I meant to say.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
To a point. Some basketball schools make a shit ton of money off their basketball.
Sure. Not nearly as much as the football schools.
100%.
Even the top end, the top end basketball, they're still only pulling in like 50 mil for a year annually from their
UT makes,
which is why we should remove football from scholastic institutions so they can focus on studies.
We went over this in like the second episode. It was like a 30-minute long argument.
You're right though, but sure.
Yeah.
Disagree. But
anyway.
I just like it because it's fun.
I like college football.
Yeah,
it is fun.
I love college basketball.
I like all college sports are fun.
So I'm sorry. what's been going on recently is that basically we've gone from a Power 5 to essentially a Power 2 with the Big Ten and the SEC lording their power over everybody else right now.
Honestly, would say it's a big one.
Oh, no, their media deals are all like they're within a few million of each other.
Yes, but competition and...
So basically...
the SEC is just so dominant.
The country split up into what, 10 divisions?
There are. Well, there's more than 10 conferences.
Yeah, there's so many itty bitty ones because there's so many other schools.
There's the 5 major, and then there's the 5 like minor. Minor conferences.
And then you got like sort of the one province minors for those of us who play EU4.
Yes.
Because Johnny and I, we were talking about it, and we said that it is like big countries gobbling up smaller countries. You know, for when they get weak.
Yeah. Very Game of Thrones, honestly. Yeah. There's a lot of wheeling and dealing behind the scenes. There's a lot of people backstabbing each other. They're like, oh, yeah, I'll stay with you in the conference here for 10 years. Yeah. I'll sign this contract. I'm not going to.
And then they break them.
Yeah. And then they break it 5 years in. Yeah. And they find a way to like weasel out of paying the full exit fee.
School.
Which one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They broke a contract.
They all break contracts.
They all break them.
But I think that's what I find so fascinating about it is what you're bringing up is exactly. It's like kingdoms at war.
Yeah.
It's countries at war. It's kind of unique. You don't really see that in sports very often as far as realignment geographically goes, as far as, what conferences everybody's playing in.
Yeah.
So, and because there's so many rivalries in college football. So now that all the movements happening, some are being reignited, like A&M and Texas.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And that's a big one. I mean, OU and Texas going to the SEC is really what I think.
Texas and Arkansas, Oklahoma and Arkansas, the Big Eight.
But I also think like that was, I'm going to say it's not the final straw in this whole, thing, but like.
It's not. Notre Dame is probably going to be the final piece.
Right. But it was a big one. Like this is what put this whole like realignment. I mean, when A&M went to the SEC, like that was like a question mark on the alignment thing. And the Big 12 was still like
Texas's fault.
They were still there. Right. Yeah. The Big 12, they picked up UH, they picked up Cincinnati, they picked up BYU, and they picked up
UCF, University of Central Florida out of Orlando.
That is nothing compared to what they lost.
True.
And because of that, it killed that conference.
So what's
there's a big but.
But what?
Big one. Gary, go ahead, please.
So what broke up the status quo in 2011?
The new TV rights deals.
The new TV deal.
Every time the networks are about
when the
to
Longhorn
sign.
Network came out too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that still going?
No. It shut down a couple years ago.
Okay.
What happens is usually they're signed anywhere from 5 to 10 years or so.
Yeah, I think it's normally a 5-year deal.
Right. ESPN, Fox, NBC, CBS, they all basically get together and they're bidding on. They're like, okay, I want to buy, 10 Big Ten games a week to show on my network exclusively, and no other network gets to show those. Yeah. And they get all the fans of those teams can only watch those games, can only look at the advertising on that one channel.
Yeah.
So it's just,
what do those contracts run?
How much?
Yeah. Millions and millions.
So the one that Notre Dame, I'll give you an example. Currently, Notre Dame has an exclusive home game rights deal with NBC. They're getting paid about $38 million a year annually to let NBC go ahead and show those home games for them. So they're doing a recontract right now, and they're looking in the ballpark of $75 million a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what a lot of the schools are getting paid in the higher up conferences. It's anywhere between 75 to 100 million.
The SEC is getting a shit ton every game, I think.
Yeah, the new Big Ten deal, I'll give you another example. The new Big Ten deal, 7 years, annually they're getting, it was like $1 billion. Yeah. I think is what they're getting. $1 billion to split between 12 schools or 14 schools, however.
Okay, all right. So just a little bit more than Tiger Woods was offered for Liv.
Just a little, slightly. Yeah, that's crazy. But.
Yeah. It's nuts. You were talking about the Big 12 a second ago. Yeah. You said that losing Texas, which is overall the number 4, what I was looking up the rankings, they were number 4. Oklahoma was number 10 or 9, I think, bringing in overall viewership and,
they're number 1 in money.
Who is Oklahoma or Texas? UT,
yeah. They're number 1 as far as sport, like NCAA sports goes.
As far as richest athletic departments, they are number 1. Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge deal when that team leaves that conference. I mean,
it's giant.
And it's gigantic. And that's, like I said, I mean, I think that's like it's a wake up call for people who watch college sports, because now we have the SEC who is got football on lock. I mean,
Big Ten, yeah.
Ohio State,
Michigan are the top two, by the way.
The Ohio State.
They are.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's interesting.
SEC doesn't have a top 4, actually. Yeah.
Really?
Alabama's 8, I think.
Who's 3 and 4?
I don't remember. We should look that up.
That's really interesting.
Something I should have that pulled up. I'm sorry. I'm unprepared. My bad.
No, I mean, it's interesting to hear that. Michigan and Ohio State. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, even so, like talking about, they might bring in revenue, right?
Yeah.
But competition wise,
level of competitiveness. Level of competition.
Gone. I mean, because they're in the SEC, by the way, is also going to be in trouble with competition, because think about this, right?
Just threw Oklahoma into the mix.
Just threw Oklahoma and Texas.
Texas has a chance.
I mean, Texas got Manning. I mean, like if you start thinking about this,
Manning,
where do most football players come from?
Texas normally.
So now you have
Florida,
Texas,
sometimes Ohio,
right? And Alabama was grabbing some of these guys because they're an SEC team. That was the big thing, right? Yeah. We're always in the national championship.
It's a mini NFL,
right? You're always going to see high competition, right? You're going to be ready for the NFL when you make it there. That was a lot of their recruiting,
right?
And now you can throw money at recruits, and you have a hometown school that is in the SEC. Like if UT plays its cards right, it's going to be a powerhouse. It's going to dominate the sport
more than they already are.
Right.
Yeah. Or were
right. And so like you start thinking about that and it's like, okay, so now you have the SEC battling each other.
Yeah.
That's all it'd be is the SEC battling each other. It's not good.
So you hate that they made kind of a monopoly on the whole.
Teams did it though. It wasn't the league. The league didn't jump in and say, hey, go do this. The teams decided to do it themselves. They have a lot of autonomy. Honestly,
the
teams, it's crazy. For the schools,
the NCAA is just such a mess. Like
I mean, pushover in college football. Yeah,
college football. That's the whole athletics thing with
Did you know they aren't
NCAA is a mess? But
they aren't even the governing body for the college football playoff. The college football playoff is a separate entity completely from college football.
I didn't know that.
It's like a private company.
What the hell?
Yeah. So I mean, it's obviously connected directly to college athletics, but yeah. So there was talk about, going forward, is college football going to be controlled by the NCAA, or are they just going to have the CFP do it? Because currently the CFP does the playoff and they think they do a pretty good job with it. So they're talking about doing that. I don't know the specifics of it, so I can't really comment any more than that.
The weird thing about that, right? Let's say this NCAA doesn't even start like ranking their teams, anything like that.
Yeah.
What happens to the money that they're earning? Right? Like, I guess I just want to know, like, they're making all this money, these sports teams. Like, is it going back to the school? Like, I don't know. There's so many questions with this.
Yeah.
And like the way they're realigning, it's like they're a business, and that's not like, I think what we originally intended as a school. And there's, I mean, we've talked about that before already, but like, there are so many questions that come with this dominating SEC Big Ten merger. Really.
And I really wonder what's going to happen with Notre Dame when we were talking a second ago, Gary, about how much. So what's going to happen is if they can get that in the ballpark of like 60 million is what a lot of the experts were saying, Notre Dame would take that and they would go ahead and remain independent in football. They're not currently part of a conference. Did I explain that to you when we did the whole?
They're independent.
Okay. Yeah. Gary and I, one night we broke down an entire conference realignment. It was such a good idea. We realigned everything. We broke up the powerhouses.
This is
put everybody geographically together.
No, it's a terrible idea.
We put rivalries back together.
And you broke them.
No, we put them back together.
No,
that was the great thing about it.
No, it's dumb.
Why?
I'm telling you the fix to this, and I already know the fix. North versus South.
What?
North versus South. I've already said
two conferences. And we'll get into that in a second. That's another point of debate. Yeah.
You break up the country in half. North, South. And then you break up
a giant conference.
We tried that one giant
one giant league.
No, and then you break up the North and the South into 4 divisions like the NFL.
So it becomes one league. It's not a bunch of conferences anymore. Correct. That's what they are right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
One league of 100 whatever many schools fighting against each other. And then, I mean, you could have divisions, right? Division 1, Division 2, kind of like high school.
Yeah.
And then you have the Division 5 schools fighting Division 5
I
schools.
frankly wouldn't have a problem with that.
And then you separate, you know, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana.
It's really not
Arkansas.
super different how they're doing it right now, outside of, you know, the schools being able to decide what conference they want to be in.
And I think that's the biggest, one of my biggest issues is the schools get to decide whatever the hell they want.
The problem with that is, I wonder, I mean, they would figure it out, but the media rights deals, there's so many. There's so many rights deals. Well, the college football does, because the reason they're able to have so much say is because the money that they bring in, obviously, but the networks are only interested in them because of that.
But my thing is,
so if there's only one pie and there's not many pieces to give out,
college football doesn't need the media. The media needs college football. College football has all the cards in the hand.
Sure.
So for me,
because
they're still going to get shit tons of money just from having fans go to the game.
Yeah.
And they could run their own networks, honestly.
So
they're actually, I'll tell you, they have not had success with individual schools doing that so far.
Think about who
not just Texas, there's other ones too.
I know, I'm just saying, think about who runs them too, though. Like, honestly, I've worked at a university. The administration is not that good. They're not that capable. Like,
but Nick, what you're saying is there'd be one network that had all of the college football games on it.
That's a monopoly. Too big.
Oh,
sorry.
I thought that's what you wanted.
I didn't. Not for the media rights deal.
Why?
But why does
it'd be like ESPN? Where all of the games are. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about going to NBC or CBS.
And then you could pay one price for all the games. It makes way more sense.
It does make from a conveniency standpoint. Yeah,
for everything.
Efficiency wise. Yeah, absolutely.
And we can still keep a lot of the rivalries. And if you do it this way,
I don't know if ESPN would be able to come up with enough money to be able to fund the media rights deal for the entire league.
But I'm also saying screw ESPN. If you are the NCAA makes so much fucking money.
They do.
That they could run their own media. And also
start their own network.
Yeah. And you know what'd be online? You know what'd be really cool too? Those schools could like hire their students and maybe have them like intern. And so they could actually learn about like maybe what their passions are. Like if somebody's really into like doing commentating, maybe you could have like a student commentator. Like there's so many options for you if you do that. And it's a fix, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it brings back some of the scholastic stuff that is important to, which is the most important thing about school. Fuck football. Like the most important thing is about teaching our students.
This is a sports podcast.
I know. I'm just saying.
We're not talking about education here.
I mean, I'm just saying, but like that's a fix, right? And then you have conferences. And you can, like I said, it's just like the NFL. Some years, you might not play your rival. Okay. But you could also split up like, okay, this middle division plays somebody in the far west division or far east division, whatever it is. Like, it fixes so much.
Yeah. I mean, you could have even taken our original idea and just put it into one league. Because you could have just taken conferences, made them divisions, and just been like, boom, you're in a league. It's actually pretty easy to do that.
Our ideas are very similar. Except mine's easier.
So
yours is like a crazy. Have you ever watched that Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode?
It's not with the Charlie.
Like, yes, it is. Your system was literally Charlie in the mailroom.
No, it's because we use the map.
Yeah, the map was fucking ridiculous. And there was, I swear to God, there was like notes everywhere. And there was like writing on the walls. Like I'm telling you,
there were no notes you were supposed to see.
Gary lost more hair because he was fucking trying to find different things. Like
Gary went gray there for a second. Fully gray. He was so stressed.
There was a lot of smoking though, so
there's a lot of chain smoking.
Sylvia, like it's
no, there's literally not much of a difference.
That's what I'm saying. Mine is easier.
Basically, what I'm telling you, that's great. And in a perfect world, that would be the ideal way to do it. You will not be able to get every team to agree to do that, or all the or one network.
Everybody wins.
Okay, then why haven't they done it?
No, the networks.
Well, hang on. Why haven't they done it? If that's the resolution to all their problems, why?
Because it's hard.
Huh?
Because it's hard. It would be hard to start up a network by yourself. It would be. There's a ton of deals in the background.
Nick, the amount of money that would go into that it's just not worth the investment from the school standpoint. Why?
Because if you do your own network, you're keeping all of your profits.
Mm-hmm.
Right now,
That's true. You do. Yeah. That's why all the streaming networks with the big production companies or big broadcast networks. Yeah.
They're keeping all your profits. The long run, my idea, or I guess our idea, because y'all's crazy ass map was very similar.
It really
so our idea makes the schools more money, which can be given to the students and all sorts of other great things.
If they split it up collectively. Yeah.
Correct. Mm-hmm. The reason, and here's the real reason. The reason why it's not going to happen is because of schools like UT. Sure. It's because of schools like Ohio State. Mm-hmm. It's because of schools like Michigan.
Yeah.
Greed.
Yeah.
That's it. Because they would lose money.
Yeah, they would, because they'd have to equally share it.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know how much
socialism in full effect.
I don't know how much they would lose.
And it doesn't work. There you go.
But the thing is, like, I don't know how much they would lose. I don't know the math in that. Yeah. I also don't, because we'd also have to, but we also have to think they'd be making more money overall because all the networks were to own. They'd own their own network. So they're taking on all the profits.
We don't know. The problem is we don't know the total numbers. You have to
actually go down and do like a fucking actual business. Like I'd have to sit down and be nerdy about it, and I don't.
Yeah, we'd have to look at the numbers and be like, okay, in the end, 10 years from now, what could they make?
Year, do they make profit or
where are we projected at? In 20 years, is it possible to attain this at our current trajectory?
Right now, those schools, they're not going to do it.
So would you break up the schools into like tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Tier 5 school gets like 10% of the profit. Yeah. Okay.
You'd have to.
So UT would
the top 5 schools would have to get more
like
of the
50% of the profit because they're like, this is what most people are watching.
The top 5 schools that perform the best at the end of the season?
Well, I'm just saying.
Just like for advertising.
Yeah.
Oh, the ones that bring in the most money in general. I got you. Okay.
Which that would be probably pretty easy because you could just survey people
the Nielsen fucking ratings could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of... I think
you'd have still a lot of problems with pride, big dick swinging. Yeah. Because there's only a few people that actually make the decisions on if they move from one conference to another.
Yeah.
It's not like, here's, 3,000 people there. Let's all vote.
Right. And that's the problem, right? There's so many problems with this system. It's broken. It's a broken freaking system.
Mm-hmm.
And agreed. The fix is be less greedy.
Yeah, be less greedy. Hey, in an ideal world,
live in Eden.
Why can't we just live in Eden?
We'd all listen to cool music and drive convertibles. I watch a lot of
Star Trek, okay? And Star Trek sounds nice. Why can't we just do that?
We'd all listen.
The recent one.
We'd all listen.
True.
We'd all listen to cool music and drive around in convertibles.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Anybody?
I actually don't like convertibles that
King of the Hill. Damn, no one.
Wait, when is that?
When he's talking about Bobby goes, I know what a great idea would be. We invent a town called Coolsville. And there's cool music, jazz music playing all the time everywhere, and everyone's driving around in convertibles. And Bobby goes, sounds like Austin.
Yep.
That's true. Except Austin's gotten not weird. No, it's straight edge.
It has become straight edge.
Expensive.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
anyway,
really
just back to our main topic for tonight with the realignment. We're going to, I just wanted to give you guys kind of a breakdown on what happened recently with the Big 12, Big 10, basically 4 of the Power 5 schools. As you guys know from last summer, we talked about Texas and Oklahoma left the Big 12 for the SEC for more money overall, solidifying the SEC's hold competitively, at least, as the G League of the NFL.
God, they're going to be
the talent that they have is just going to be absolutely stacked. I wouldn't be surprised at some point if the SEC gets 3 teams into the CFP, even in a 4-team format.
I actually think they're going to get less teams in the CFP.
Think so?
Yeah, because I think they're going to be competing against each other and they're going to get losses, and losses are so important.
I think with the with the strength of schedule, as long as they're only losing to each other, only a couple of them are. They have a chance to get 3 teams in.
Let's say Alabama has to play Georgia, UT, Oklahoma, A&M, Arkansas.
All right.
And Arkansas only has to play A&M, Georgia, UT, and some other random teams, right? Because they split it up that way. And they don't have to play Alabama, so they're not going to be losing to each other. And let's say Alabama loses Texas A&M and UT for this example, right? That's a 2-loss team. They're not getting in the playoff if there's other 1-loss teams.
Okay. Don't lose the games you shouldn't lose. Only lose the games to a potential opponent.
But I'm saying that because of the Oklahoma big UT merger,
right?
Those teams are going to become closer in competition.
Yeah.
And so because of that, it's not like the games that they lose are going to be like coin flips.
Maybe.
I think that's how it's going to be.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be.
A&M
They probably won't get 3, most likely. Will they get 2 again? I think that's very likely again, just due to the fact that it's
2 is more like I don't think they'll ever get 3.
Two Big Ten teams and 2 SEC teams. Definitely not out of the question. That's how it's going to be.
Probably. You're right. I mean, because what will end up happening, I guarantee you, is one team will make it out and maybe potentially lose their like championship week.
Yeah.
And then you have to pick the 2 SEC teams because they went through this whole goddamn gauntlet and one would beat the championship team. And then the Big Ten is the same freaking way.
Yeah.
Also, when are they going to change their name from the Big Ten?
I have no idea.
Because they're not 10 anymore.
Yeah. What are they at now? They're at
14, right?
14 now, yeah.
But I think the Big 14 sounds terrible.
Does the Big 14 the sweet 14 Ligo?
It's called Big 10 TIM, like metal.
Okay.
Why?
That way they wouldn't have to change it. They could have whatever number they wanted.
Yeah. They'll probably just stay as the Big 10 because they've been known as that for such a long time. And they have a big trademark now.
Like the Big
they sell a lot of merchandise with the Big 10 logo. And
with now the Big 12 is Big 14, right?
They're still 12.
Oh, that's right, because they lost 2.
They might potentially, though, which is another thing we're getting into right now. Because that happened. Also, what happened, we were talking about the Big 10. The Pac-12 was also not gutted, but just like the Big 12, they lost their 2 premier leagues. Yep. In a already very struggling league. Big 12 was struggling a little bit, but the Pac-12 was struggling mightily, even with USC and UCLA still at the helm.
They're screwed.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I
feel bad for them.
Pac-12 has Oregon.
They're done.
Oregon State, Colorado,
right?
Cal,
right?
Arizona, Utah, Stanford.
Yep.
Is there one more?
Yeah, Washington State.
Okay.
Arizona State.
I fucking forgot about Washington.
And you said Colorado, I think. So. Yeah. Cal and Stanford.
Alienate all the
so USC and UCLA, big surprise, went to the Big Ten. So as Nick was talking about, the Big 12 picked up the University of Houston. Yep. They picked up UCF. They picked up Cincinnati, and they picked up BYU.
Our mascot died.
BYU here. Sad. We've actually got we got 2 gentlemen who their alma maters are 2 of those teams that just joined the Big 12. So
what does BYU even do? I'm holding up the Go Cougs sign.
Go Cougs.
Like I don't know what the fuck. What does BYU do for their sign? Do they have a sign?
We pray.
Okay, that is fucking awful.
No, they don't.
Is that real?
Just like
no.
Do they have a sign?
Sing hymns.
Do they not have one?
I think. Oh God, I don't remember. I think they do. I'm sure they do.
Yeah. I graduated from UH. Our mascot did just die. Shasta.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's actually a big deal. He used to guard our rings before we got him. So
both y'all's mascots are the Cougars.
Yeah, true. We got 2 Cougars.
There you go.
That's awesome.
And my middle school was the Cougars.
Yeah, let's go, baby.
Yeah, baby.
The more you know. But yeah, I think that move. I mean, the Big 12 definitely won that one. UH is the 3rd biggest school in the state, by the way.
Yeah.
So
UCF actually has the largest overall population of any university, public university. Yeah, like over 60. Yeah, check it out. What was their? Let's see here.
That's wild.
Yeah, I know, right?
So Nick, what would you think about breaking it up into like by states, and then whoever the best in the state is goes to play?
Do you have like a March Madness of states?
Yeah.
I mean, that's great, except like what happens in like Wyoming. You know what I mean? There's not that many schools in some of the.
The University of Central Florida is the U.S.'s largest public university by student enrollment at over 70,000 students enrolled in the various courses as of fall 2020.
That's weird. I wonder if they're counting online.
Probably.
Okay,
but it's a large university. I know that. I know a few people that actually. That's
interesting.
Go Golden Knights! Apparently.
Yeah.
So
Gatorade.
Huh?
Gatorade.
Very popular school.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
Why are you saying that?
Because water sucks. Gatorade.
I love that movie.
So good.
So good. Bobby Boucher.
Yeah, we need to watch that tonight.
That's what we're watching.
Let's hear your Bobby Boucher accent, Nick.
No. Never.
Bobby Boucher.
Never.
It's my Hank Hill Bobby Boucher impression.
What the fuck is that? That's why I didn't do it, because it would have sounded just like that. But yeah, I think if you're talking about those two leagues that lost people and gained people, right? Pac-12 is screwed. They're done. But the Big 12 still has potential.
They do.
UH is a big. That honestly, not trying
UH
to,
is a solid
not
pickup.
trying to be biased.
No, it's a good pickup. I like it a lot.
And Cincinnati, those are two really good pickups.
All four of them are good pickups.
Yes, I mean really BYU is kind of lame, but
BYU has national. They have a bit. They have a national brand because there's
UCF is good. UCF is a good pickup.
I mean, honestly, so what? The Big 12 they put their foot over in the state of Florida. They finally expanded, and hey, they're going to start recruiting. You know, they put their foot over in the state of Ohio. Okay, they finally add a division for West Virginia, so West Virginia doesn't have to keep flying back and forth between freaking, you know.
I mean, that's true. That's
freaking Waco.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, those are big pickups. That's a potential keep them afloat, right? And that's like the big thing. The Big 12 is trying to stay afloat. Yeah. You know, UH has become. Like I said, I just graduated from there. They're becoming a sports school. Yeah. UH was known as a commuter school, so students would come in from the outskirts of Houston and from Houston and commute to the school, right? Mm-hmm. Now we have a bunch of places on campus that people are staying because basketball. I mean, we're pretty much 5 Slamma Jamma 2.0 out here. Like, we're potential to win the NCAA tournament.
They're a consistent Final Four contender every year.
I mean, people are saying we could win it all this year, right? And so, like, when you start talking about that, like in basketball, and then it starts going into the football, we have a really nice football stadium that was just built, but it was built recently. And the school's getting pumped up. So you bring that school who is building a good reputation into a recruitment zone where they can get hot. Maybe you start seeing the Big 12 at least have some ranking, right? Yeah. Because right now, like, I mean, the teams, you got Baylor, right? Yeah. Do they have any, like,
their top media market spot? Oklahoma State came in at 26. I remember that. Okay. So Oklahoma State was the biggest one. So you have to remember too, even though their market is Stillwater, which is basically, it's like north central Oklahoma.
Yeah, but there's nothing in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like that's why Alabama. Why all of these schools in the SEC and even the Big Ten and stuff. Even they're in these not necessarily rural areas, but. And a lot of times they are, where there's no professional team, at least, and that's the only thing that they're going to root for.
I think it's the professional teams aren't good, too.
That too, sure. Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Falcons, like, they could take Alabama fans, right? Yeah, but the Falcons suck. Yeah. So why are you going to root for the Falcons? In Michigan, they have the Lions.
The majority of people who live
been terrible.
Yeah, the
majority of people. Great color scheme, though. I love that.
The majority of people who live in Alabama are probably fans of Alabama or Auburn.
Yep.
There's nobody who's not a sports fan in Alabama.
Everybody loves football.
Or I'm sure the majority of people, I know in Oklahoma it is that same way.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Because there is, like,
my family at least.
They have the Thunder.
They do, but Oklahoma and Oklahoma State have been they've been symbols of the state for such a long time, right? So they've been around for so long.
Yeah, I agree.
So currently, Brett Bowlesby, who is the former commissioner of the Big 12, was just such a man. I really had a pretty strong distaste for that guy, man. I didn't like him too much.
You really don't like him.
Yeah.
Johnny's very passionate about the Big 12.
I am.
You love the Big 12.
Yeah. I don't like it, Brett Bowlesby. I actually am. I'm pissed. I'm a huge UT fan.
Yeah, you are.
I was. And then this happened. Well, sure. Okay. I'm mad now, and I'll probably still be like, yeah, go you guys. But I'm rooting for the Big 12, man. I want the Big 12 to do.
So am I. Go Cougs.
Yeah.
Go Cougars.
Yeah.
Go Cougars.
Yeah.
We're going to play each other. We can have watch parties
here. We can. Yeah. For me, go Baylor. Whatever.
Baylor.
Sure.
That's near McLennan.
Yeah, it's near McLennan.
Baylor sucks.
Yeah. I did shows at Baylor. I took classes at Baylor.
They're the Bears. A Cougar would destroy a Bear.
Stop Bears. I think a bear beat the shit out of a Cougar.
Yeah, I was like, I think a bear would absolutely demolish
a Bear. Wouldn't see the Cougar coming.
What could the cougar do to hurt a bear?
Just bite it right in the neck.
Does it jump off a tree above the bear and you just spider monkey in the air?
If you get a fang around that neck and he's done.
I still think the bear.
What is he, one of those face huggers from Alien? No, I don't.
It's not a brown bear. They're black bears. They're the small bears.
Okay.
It's not like a grizzly, you know, it's not.
Well, like a grizzly bear, I think is a challenge rating 7 and a brown bear is a challenge rating 4. Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
So
what's a cougar?
Brett,
a 3? I'd have
think
to look that
it'd
up.
Be close.
Yeah.
So Brett Bowlesby.
Brett Bowlesby.
Brett Bowlesby. He's the former commissioner. This year, the Big 12 really they swung for the fences. They brought in Brett Yormark, who is an executive over at Jay-Z's Rock Nation. He had been over there for like 15 years or something like that. They bring him in, and this guy, he comes in swinging. He's insanely aggressive.
Yeah.
He's always trying to stay ahead of the curve. He's trying to stay he's trying to be innovative and, come up with new ways to keep the Big 12 afloat and then gain a foothold because currently they are in a second tier with the ACC and the Pac-12.
The ACC.
And the ACC, Big 12, I'm telling you, they are not far behind the ACC right now. With the pickups that they made, smart decisions getting those 4 schools.
I think they're over the ACC. I think they're over the ACC.
ACC is still pretty strong. North Carolina and Virginia in particular. I mean, those are both top 20 in the TV markets. And it's all about the markets and the money right now.
Yeah, but I think the big thing is, again, if those schools can get good, then those markets will grow. Yeah. So sure. Cincinnati,
it helps. Yeah.
Cincinnati was really good last year.
Houston, let me put it this way. Houston could be amazing in basketball for the next 10 years and never reach the level of fandom that Kansas has. Kansas could have 7 down years in a row. Wouldn't matter. True. But what I'm saying is they could improve, for football in particular, I think there's a lot of fair weatherness in football. Basketball, I feel like you kind of... I don't think so in college.
Maybe in college.
There has to be. You're right. There has to be some fair weatherness. Yeah.
And so I think if you can take some of that, right? And if you can start being good consistently, because there was a time where Alabama was not the best school football-wise for a long time, actually, until Saban came. And then they got good, and now they're unbeatable all the damn time. Yeah. So if that can happen, if one of the teams can get really good and consistently win and consistently be in that college football playoff, the Big 12 could pop off.
Yeah, they could. And they can be competitive right now.
Yeah, they could.
Cincinnati just was the first outside Power 5 football team to break into the college football playoff. Now they got thumped in the first round by Georgia. Unfortunately. That's okay. I mean, they went on the road and beat Notre Dame. They beat Notre Dame, who was a top 5 team last year on the road.
Yeah.
They beat Rudy.
Hey, Notre Dame is ranked really high again this year too, which is bullshit.
But Notre Dame always has they're a good program. They're not a historic program. I think they are overrated most seasons.
Yeah, they're definitely overrated.
I would agree. But they were. I disagree. I would disagree with last season. I thought last season's team was one of the best that they've had in the last decade.
I would agree.
That defense was their linebacking core was just insane.
I mean, out of the Big 12, highest ranking team in the Big 12 right now, it's got to be Cincinnati, right?
It'd either be Cincinnati or Oklahoma State. I think maybe it could be Baylor, because Baylor's actually predicted to win the Big 12 this year.
Are they?
Yeah, they're predicted to beat Oklahoma. But I was reading in a lot of, I mean, obviously there's going to be different opinions than.
Is that because they're freaking out about their coach leaving?
Yeah, Lincoln Riley again now. Yeah. They're not sure. I mean, they don't know anything about the new guy yet. Is it a turnkey operation in Oklahoma? I don't think. It's easier,
Oklahoma
obviously.
State has the highest ranking right now.
It does. What are they at?
8.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Baylor's 12. Houston 16. Let's go Cougs.
Let's go Cougs. Go Big 12.
BYU 22.
Okay.
Woo-hoo.
That's a lot of rankings for the Big 12.
Yeah.
Cincinnati 25.
What was Oklahoma and Texas at? Because they're still in the Big 12 this year.
Are they?
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, the change isn't supposed to.
That's right.
2025 is when they're supposed to leave. I highly doubt it'll probably be by next year.
UH already signed and paid to leave early.
Yeah. From where were they at again? The American?
Yeah,
the American West or something.
The same thing Cincinnati was at.
Yeah, because that's right. Because UCF and BYU was an independent like Notre Dame.
Right.
Theirs didn't
UT's not ranked
quite as well.
UT's not ranked because they were god awful.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm pissed at UT right now. I'm tired.
Oklahoma is 20.
Yeah, I don't want super conference or super division. That's what it is in SEC.
We should just have super conferences.
Yeah. That was going to be one of the other topics of discussion. There is talks right now of just having a league and having 2 conferences.
Well, I'm saying.
Not having a league, having 2 conferences. Exactly. Yeah. And then expanding the college football playoff over from 4 teams to like 12 or 16.
Here's the thing. another reason, just to go back, we've already talked about it a lot.
Mhm.
The two conferences idea. Another reason that they can't do this is because they're still under the illusion that they're schools and that they're like giving money to their schools and helping their programs. That's the illusion, right? I think if they
broke off and we're just like, hey, we're more of a trade center.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
But if they went to the two super conferences, the illusion's gone.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
And you can't say I'm a school with a football team. That's gone. You are a
football with a school.
Yes.
No,
just you're a football team with a school.
Just cut off the school, and you're just there to train footballers.
Agreed, but that's a different discussion for a different time. But yes,
true.
I think that's just another big hurdle. Like they can't.
So how do the smaller conferences, how do the ACC, Big 12, and Pac-12 save themselves?
They don't.
How do they save themselves? What can they try? That's the big question.
They are trying.
Yeah. I think the Big 12 has really positioned, because there was talks right now about Arizona really wanting to jump ship to the Big 12, Utah and Colorado considering it, and people were saying, well,
Oregon?
Not exactly, because Oregon, remember I was telling you that...
they had a talk about, I remember Oregon being mentioned.
They talked to them in Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the Pac-12 schools
are
an accredited something. What is that? The NAU accreditation or something like that. Anyways, there's like 64 schools across the country that have it, and all the Pac-12 schools are supposed to, and all the Big 10 schools do, but not all of the Big 12 schools. Like only half of them. I think Tech isn't, Kansas State isn't, whatever. Couple others.
Gotcha.
Anyways, so they were looking down on them. So Oregon and Washington, obviously, being just kind of pompous and arrogant as they are, thinking that they're better than these lowly schools of the Big 12. Like, okay,
I'm Stanford. I'm so hoity-toity in my fucking sweaters.
I'm the Ivy League of the West Coast.
I've got a cardinal for a mascot. Oh, yeah, they do have a tree.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fuck you, Stanford.
Okay.
That's like the main thing.
Just kidding, Stanford. You're all right. You're all right. If you're listening, then you're a new listener. You went to Stanford. It's your alma mater. I'm sorry.
I'm Stanford. Like, seriously. They remind me a lot of Cornell, except on the West Coast.
Cornell?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay. You know a lot of people that went to Cornell?
No, but when I picture like Cornell, I think of Andy Bernard from The Office.
From The Office.
Oh, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, that, like, his Stanford, right? Like,
his little pitch pipe is...
Yes, like, exactly. Like,
a little barbershop quartet comes in.
He actually had a barbershop quartet.
Classic Ed Helms. What?
He actually had a barbershop quartet.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded like he was singing all the time.
He's got a decent voice.
It didn't sound like it was any type of voiceover or ADR.
But yeah,
I think for a small school, what they need to do is find like a Rudy or somebody and have a really good movie made about him.
Yep.
Because that'll give them a lot of
That's kept
fame.
Notre Dame alive forever.
Yeah.
It helped. I mean, they're also like they're Catholic.
Yeah.
Based is really what is the heart of
a terrible part of town too, by the way.
No,
Indiana, that whole area is like really bad.
Yeah, I heard that they've.
What town are they in?
South Bend.
South Bend,
okay.
Indiana.
That's where
the terrible part of the
Pete Buttigieg.
Okay.
That was the city that he was the mayor of.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was not great.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But anyway, like if they could make like a movie like that, because like the only reason like I know Notre Dame as kind of a layman is kind of from Rudy.
Yeah.
And President Bartlett went there from the West Wing. So they just need something like that.
Fucking West Wing. Yeah, I mean, I think that goes the same thing. Like if the teams can get good, right?
That would help too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a movie would help, or something heroic, right? Like an underdog story would be great. I don't think it's going to happen, but yeah, that's a good way of getting them out. I honestly don't see how these other conferences can stay competitive against two major powerhouses that are
mini NFLs.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't
become
right. I mean,
especially if Notre Dame joins any conference, I'm under the assumption it's going to be the Big Ten.
Yes,
so they're going to have to jump ship to the Big Ten.
Yes.
They're in. It's geographically. It
only makes sense.
Academically, it makes sense.
Yes.
the prestige of the institution.
they're right smack dab of like that whole conference.
They've got rivalry, and a lot of belief is
Ohio.
If Notre Dame goes over, then that means they'll bring Stanford over, and then that means they'll be like, well, we've already got all those guys. We're going to have to go ahead and bring Oregon. And Washington. Now, Oregon packs a punch, not going to lie. Oregon, the founder of Nike, his alma mater is Oregon. This headquarters, the base, it's in Oregon. Yep. And he backs the school
right near the school.
They have a national brand. They're a heavy competitor.
Nike is a.
So you're telling Oregon to just do it?
I hate you so much.
Damn it, Gary.
But that's going to happen. Notre Dame is going to join a conference at some point. It's impossible for them not to.
Yeah, at some point they will.
And when they do that, you're going to see more of the schools jump. And as soon as Stanford and Oregon leave, then the rest of that conference has to leave because there's nowhere for them to be.
Yeah. Maybe you have all the shitty conferences join together to form their own shitty, massive conference. Yeah, but there's not going to, the media rights so small.
What if you had like the Big 12?
Yeah. I thought you were referring to like the American.
No,
I'm West.
Saying everything but the SEC in the Big 10. Like their choices are continue to slowly lose teams.
Yeah.
Which
is what's going to happen.
Which is going to happen.
It's the inevitability of it.
Understand that they're in a losing battle.
Yeah.
And the only way to win the war is to join hands.
Yeah.
And fight together.
Most likely it's probably going to.
Nothing.
What? It's right. Explain to me how it's not, Gary.
I'm just saying, like,
Gary got a little smirk on his face.
Oh, just saying, like the Greek city-states were able to beat Persia, by joining together. So maybe all the small little schools could join together.
It's like almost like history repeats itself.
Yeah.
Just in college football.
So basically,
and there's a bunch of mascots off of like Romans and Greeks.
Yeah,
so
just true. So basically, you think
Spartans and Trojans and
like basically they're all going to eventually kind of just bleed into like two big conferences.
It's going to happen now.
Okay, like the SEC and the Big 10 or 12.
Yes.
Yeah,
it'd be like the big 400 of that.
The only thing that they can do, most likely, what's going to happen here is, in the next decade, that's probably going to be what happens.
Sure. It's
inevitable.
It's impossible for not to.
Yeah.
Those even Stanford wants money. They're not going to make money in the conference they're in.
No.
How do you get more money? You join the conference that's got more money.
The thing is, so here's where we're at right now. We'll bring it back to this real quick. This is where we're at right now. The Pac-12 is at 10 teams. They have the option. The Pac-12 commissioner he's dead set on the idea that we're in this together. The last remaining 10 teams, we're going to stay together. We're going to get our new media rights deal with Fox.
Yeah.
And so we have to see what the offer is coming in
from Fox.
And the odds are it's not going to
be
look
low.
good.
It's a low blow.
It's going to be really low. They were already at the bottom of the lowest earning conferences from TV. And the big thing, the cool draw about the Pac-12 was that they were on the West Coast. So the late night slot was always owned by whatever network had access to all of the Pac-12 games.
Yep.
So the late night slot, there was no competition at all. And so that was a sweetener. But now that the Big Ten has poached two of those teams, that really weakens the total team's
those
media
teams
deal.
will just play
Total league media deal. Sorry.
They'll just play on, the nights now.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the Big Ten and you're smart, you just have UCLA and USC switch off night games.
Yeah.
Right?
You might as well.
You have one visit somewhere else and have one stay home.
Yeah.
Have one visit somewhere else and the other stay home.
Those poor kids, those flights every week across the country and
they
back,
don't care.
Forth. I'm telling
they're all hopped up on cocaine and hookers.
The kids give zero shit. They are professional athletes. They're getting paid at this point.
Professional.
They're getting paid.
Well, a lot of them.
They're still not professional.
Why isn't a professional somebody who gets paid for
at this point it's safe to say we can call them semi-professional athletes.
It's not a professional is somebody who gets paid for their skill set, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
They get paid for their skill set.
Since when did they start getting paid?
When it was the NIL.
Yeah, the NIL deal.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's a big thing. Like,
why are they even going to college? Just go to trade school.
What I'm saying is with this, right, with everything that's happening, like
I mean, just rip off the facade of having an education.
I went to school with some of the basketball players, by the way. I like to tell the story. I will not name the basketball player's name who did this.
Tim Duncan.
But I went to UH and I went with one of the star players.
Okay.
And he was in my accounting class during basketball season.
Okay.
I saw him 0 times. At the end of the year, he had an A in the accounting course. How does that happen? How do you not show up to a single damn course?
How do you account for that?
Oh, Gary.
But that's what I mean. The athletes are athletes at this point.
Sure.
And they don't give a shit if they have to fly across the country.
So here's the thing then. Oh man, yeah, absolutely. Do you not even give them scholarships? Do you just pay them to represent your school then?
Yes.
You don't even
just give them a salary and be like, here you go. Here's 20 grand. Come play for me.
Or you could do it this way, right? The smartest thing, if we're going into this, we're going into it. The smartest thing to do is to literally say, if you make over X amount of money a year, you are no longer able to take a scholarship. Because while they are getting paid, a lot of them, like an O lineman for UT isn't going to get paid that much.
Yeah.
So if he's under $5,000 profit a year, UT can give him a scholarship, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a Peyton Manning's kid or the Manning kid, and you're getting paid $100 million throughout your college career because you've got sponsorships all over the place, no, you don't get a fucking scholarship. Give that to somebody who actually needs it, who actually deserves it.
But just don't even go to school, and that you've got to do like 4 years in the junior NFL or something before you can get into the big one.
The issue I have and the idea behind the whole university school system is that not everybody is going to make the NFL.
Right.
And
but you can still get paid doing the junior NFL.
Yeah.
Right.
Mostly.
But after 4 years, you're done.
You could go longer than that.
Okay. So what's going to happen most likely is that the CFP, who was what I was talking about earlier, the CFP who already controls the college football playoff series.
Yeah.
Okay. They're most likely going to maybe usurp the NCAA in governing of college 100%. Football. And at that point, because it's a separate entity from it's outside the governing body of college athletics a little bit. I mean, not completely obvious.
Right.
The NCAA will be like, well, you still got to follow these. Well, I don't know if they would have to actually, if they're not college athletes anymore.
And that's
eventually it could become a junior NFL,
hole.
I think, and they would just represent the school and then they would pay them a salary. They wouldn't even be students. They would just be players in a minor league. Basically,
you know what I really like if that actually does happen?
That'd be cool.
The profits go to the students and not the teams. X amount of because a lot of the public schools are getting like tax breaks and all sorts of other shit because of their goddamn football programs.
Yeah,
I mean the cities pay for a lot of their shit too.
Yeah, just don't have any public dollars go to that. You don't have to worry about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I agree with that.
Okay. And it would also take like the price of school going down because without all the sports money that comes in, like the schools wouldn't. Well, they'd still be able to afford.
But that's a discussion for another podcast.
Yes.
Join Nick and I on our accounting and economics.
I could have that podcast. Start talking about
where we break down the United States education system.
Kind of fucking ruin the education system. Yeah, let's just go on like a Gary and Nick end it all.
I love it. We'll call it like flip of a coin or something.
I like that.
Love it.
Oh, man.
So, I guess from the same question I asked earlier, what can these conferences do? Is there anything that the Big 12, I think, they're probably going to at least poach. I could see Memphis maybe getting brought in. They have a pretty historic run with their basketball program. Their football program's up and coming. I don't know, San Diego State, they talked about trying to get into the West Coast, into that time zone for one of their new marketing deals, which expires in a couple years.
Yeah.
They still got a little bit to go with theirs. 2025, I think, is when theirs expires, Big 12. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, is there any way for the Pac-12 to stay alive? No? What do you think, Gary?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Nice.
Nice
agree.
job, Gary.
Yeah.
No.
If BYU joins the Pac-12,
they're already in the Big 12.
Well, they could pack the Big 12.
Yes.
Do it.
Go do it, BYU on the morrow.
BYU just saves the world. They're the Tiger Woods of NCAA.
I mean, yeah, I think that there's always going to be a market for the smaller schools because if they're not like schools with like 70,000 people, if they've only got like 5 or 10,000 people to go to them, you're still going to have like maybe 100,000 fans, and you've got 10 schools with that.
Yeah, that's
you got a million people, so you're not going to be bringing in the money like SEC would. Yeah, but you could still survive.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll survive.
Yeah.
The football's not going away for those small schools, right?
Yeah.
UH, Arizona State, Cal, Colorado. Football will still be there, but they're not going to be anywhere close to what
I think the Big 12 is going to be able to poach at least 2 from the Pac-12 at some point. They'll either get both. Arizona, I think, is coming over at some point.
Arizona State.
If Arizona State decides to join, or Colorado or Utah decides to come to
Cal.
No.
You don't think they have Cal?
No. I would rather have.
I mean, yeah, Utah's a really good football school.
Yeah, they are.
So also the problem you have is when you start getting all of these big schools in this one conference, they're going to have to start splitting the money. So and they're going to have less control of their conference.
But sorry, keep going.
So like if you have like Alabama, that's like the only big dog in whatever conference it's in, then it gets to pretty much control that conference.
Right.
And some schools might prefer that rather than having like 16 different Alabama level schools in the same conference.
Right.
Because they'll have to share the money and the power.
But so
it's that profit margin.
The more schools and the more eyes you open up to those schools, the larger your next media rights deal is going to be.
Correct.
So there will be more people to split the pie with, but the pie is going to be way bigger than it would have been if they hadn't combined forces, which is what's been happening recently.
It really depends on the split. Yeah. And again, like that's going to be in their
bigger
contracts.
Schools will get a larger percentage.
But I mean, like you can see cracks develop because like if UT's like, well, fuck you, Alabama, I should get 20% instead of 18%.
And they might.
Yeah,
and they might be like, I'm leaving, because
they could.
Yeah. Because when you have a lot of really big...
The buyout fee would be pretty large, but yeah, they could.
I mean, UT is huge.
They want to.
I mean,
UT goes an independent.
I mean, I don't know. Nobody has this answer. I don't know. But
the only reason Notre Dame works as an independent is because of the NBC deal. If Texas might be able to get a deal from a
how profitable is UT compared to like Cowboys? Does anybody?
None of the college football teams reach the Cowboys.
You think they're not billion-dollar entities?
No.
Okay.
I think the total endowment for the University of Texas is like
I'm going to
$25 billion or something. But that's like for the whole school.
That's the whole school, though. Yeah, that's not just one part. Yeah, what the brand is worth for just college football or all college athletics, even. Maybe all college athletics. I wonder.
That's what I mean.
Interesting. I don't know.
Right? Because
I was just thinking college football.
If you start thinking about like how much did they make,
like beyond football, though, it doesn't like the profits. The numbers are so small.
Yeah,
like football's, especially in Texas, that's going to be like 90% of the profit.
I mean, just the football program made $200 million. Just the football program. It's a lot of money.
Is that revenue or profit?
Revenue.
How much did you say? I'm sorry.
200 mil.
200 mil. Gotcha.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is a lot.
And
it's nowhere close to the Cowboys, though.
Right, they're $1 billion.
Yeah.
As far as revenue,
they're 2 at this point.
Oh yeah, I don't over $1 billion.
Over
right.
2, actually.
What's the ROI on the team?
For
God,
we're not getting
Gary. Come on, stop say that for your other podcast.
Stop trying to get me to go
into flip of a coin next Saturday on Easy Listening.
Because I will do it. And
Easy Listening Station.
We should totally do that. That would be fun.
I would enjoy it.
I'll just do a podcast every day.
Yeah, we'll just do podcasts forever. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I think all the small conferences are going to die. Do you have
I agree.
Fucked up sport or some weird sport thing that you
have an but say
yes, I do.
Yeah, let's hear that.
Let's go. I think we've talked.
We've
dissected realignment.
Okay, so
I don't want to get a Pepe Sylvia again.
Yeah. Or ACC though.
As most of my sports do. As most of my sports come from, this one comes from one of the Scandinavian countries of Finland.
All the Scandinavian countries with these fucked up sports.
This sport is known as wife carrying.
What the fuck?
So a man picks up his wife and has to carry her through an obstacle course that's at least 253.5 meters long which I think is like 10 miles.
Can we do
something.
that in America units, please?
That'd be like 900 feet or so. They've got to go over like 2 wet obstacles, so like cross a stream or something, and then like a dry obstacle, like
over a mountain.
Well, like put your feet in tires and
that's lame.
Well, that's just
I like the mountain better.
And then the wife's got to weigh at least 49 kilograms, which is
American units, please.
Like 105 pounds. Okay, so I don't know. Anyway, but if the guy drops the wife, he's got to wait 15 seconds before he can pick her up.
Oh my God, I want to see video footage of this.
The winner of it, like he gets his wife's weight in beer. So that's my sport for the day. Wife carrying.
That is so much beer.
Yeah.
Imagine if like you got like.
I hope he's got a couple friends to share that with.
Well, imagine if you had like
that really is a large to consume.
Who was the guy who did who played that big dude in Game of Thrones? What's his name?
Oh, the Mountain.
Yeah. Imagine if you had the Mountain carry like get married to somebody who's like 200 pounds or like 300 pounds, and he carried her through this thing.
Yeah. I just feel bad for the guys that drop their wives because my God, you're going to get a lot of shit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I could probably drop Caitlin and she wouldn't be too upset.
You think so?
I think she'd be more. I don't think she'd be mad that I dropped her. I think she'd be more upset that we were losing.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Than me dropping her.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
She'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we got to win this thing.
We have to win this thing. Exactly. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, like, I don't think she'd be like, oh, you fucking dropped me. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Now I'm going to wait 15 seconds to pick your stupid ass up. Like,
but yeah. I like the team sport idea. So,
I like that.
That's my weekly sport.
Well, it also gives like this whole like man and like husband and wife thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bonding moment.
It's a bonding
moment. It really
moment.
is.
And then
like,
you
we
just
did this
get like
together.
shit-faced on beer.
Oh yeah, if you win 105 pounds of beer.
Yeah.
That is so much fucking beer.
Yeah. Take at least a day to drink it.
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
Okay. Yeah. That's my weird sport of the week.
Well, Gary's Obscure Sports Corner. All right, we've been rambling on long enough.
Yeah.
It's been fun. I'm Johnny.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Gary.
And I guess you're Roz.
I'm Roz.
And I'm Roz, boys. See you guys next week.
Adios.
Adios, muchachos.